All right, gotta get to work today. What's going on here? Well, I want to start. Let's try it one more time. That's not good.
We have detected unknown facial features and unstable health. You are no longer able to drive your car for the next 24 hours.
Now, some people do not believe that the manufacturers are going to be adding surveillance inside our interiors, cameras, listening devices, etc. And most of you know that I've spent a lot of money on my truck simply because I figured, you know what, I'm going to bulletproof this thing. I'm going to make it look great for the foreseeable future. So hopefully this will be the last truck I buy. And if I do buy something in the future, it'll just be for testing purposes. But regardless of that, yes, it is true. The manufacturers for 2027 are going to be adding in surveillance. So we're going to talk about that in this video. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure bell notifications on. Let's jump into this. Now, most of you guys know that modern vehicles are like becoming connected computers on wheels. And they're collecting data for your insurance companies, for the manufacturers, and this is going to obviously affect the cost of these things for us. It could even potentially void warranty. Now, by 2027, many new vehicles are expected to include enhanced monitoring systems for safety, diagnostics, insurance, and regulatory compliance. Now, the privacy concerns that they talk about are vehicles can collect location history, driving habits, speed, braking patterns, and in some cases, in-cabin data. They say in some cases. Also, many drivers are unaware of how much information their vehicles already gather and share. So yes, if you own a vehicle probably built after 2018, it probably does have the functions that the 27s will already have. Now, the question remains about who owns the data. That's the thing that I am more concerned about more than anything. Does the driver, does the manufacturer, does the insurer, or government? Now, when I decided to add my wife's new car onto our insurance, they said from State Farm that they have like a device that they can put inside the car that could help get you lower rates by your driving habits. And I know how we drive, so we're not like lead foot, but we definitely drive a little bit more aggressive, like, and especially, yeah. So I decided to opt out. I'm like, I'm good. I mean, my insurance isn't that high. We don't have any accidents, so I feel like we should be at the lowest point anyways. So I decided not to do that. Now, they're gonna probably say things like there's safety involved with this, right? If you obviously know today, there's a lot of safety functions on these cars. For example, you have adaptive cruise control, and if for any reason someone in front of you stumps on their brakes and you do not see it, the truck will actually stop for you. Also, on that windshield, you have cameras, you have sensors. All of that helps to allow the driver to have more functions to keep alert and to stay safe on the road. But here's the problem. This is a 2026 GMC Sierra 3500 Denali Ultimate. This truck cost $100,940, okay? Over here, I didn't even know what this was. This is a Kia Sportage. I had to go look. I don't do videos on these, so I just don't know. But this is a hybrid, and I would see this as like a compact crossover, right? And it's pretty loaded. I see front parking sensors there, premium lighting, has leather seats. This thing costs just under $37,000. Hopefully you guys can see that. If you can, I'll call it out. It's $36,685. It says it gets 36 miles to the gallon. Now, I don't buy cars like this, so I'm not really the one to ask, is this a good deal or not? 37 grand for this compact SUV. I used to think Sportages were like around 20 grand when I used to sell cars. I could be wrong, but that looks to be like a $20,000 car. It's $36,000. This is a base model Denali. Like, so it only has an appearance package for blackout and 22-inch wheels, no sunroof. You guys see no power to pull running boards. That thing is $90,000. That GMC Canyon over there, that's probably $55,000. And my point I'm trying to make here is these cars are already extremely expensive, right? How much does it cost to finance a $100,000 truck? That's easily probably a $1,500 car payment, and that's with good credit, and probably 72 months, maybe even 84 months probably. So that's a lot of money. And now they want to tack on a bunch of crap that could potentially not only make the cost of these trucks, cars, SUVs go up, but also think of it like this. Your insurance could go up too, because if you were to get into an accident, it costs significantly more to fix these cars. I want to say I saw an article, it was like 20% more to fix these cars today because of all the safety features that they have. Now the safety features should help prevent more accidents, and I'm pretty sure they have done a great job because adaptive cruise control does work really well. But the reality is it doesn't, deter the fact that sometimes these systems aren't going to prevent every single accident. Now, here's a few things I want you guys to understand. We've already talked about insurance. I want to talk about cybersecurity risk. Let's unpack that for a second. I think that this is the scariest part of what they're trying to do. Real quickly, Telluride. I've never seen one of these up close and personal. These things look so good. Holy moly, donut shop. This is a 2027 EX hybrid too, looks like, for $50,770. It doesn't have really any options on it either. And this thing is 50 grand. I mean, it's I would say it's pretty loaded. It's not a top trim, I can tell, but that seems like a lot of money. Just saying. That's just my opinion though. But when you think about cybersecurity, imagine your information that your car is storing up. You can't pick your nose in your car, by the way. I wanted to make that point earlier, but I forgot. Yes, you cannot pick your nose anymore in your car because now you got cameras in there. You got cameras in there looking at you. Like in this Yukon, there's a camera at the very top. You can see it. It can see you. If you pick your nose, it knows. But cybersecurity is something that you really have to understand here. It says here, more connected vehicles create additional targets for hackers. And we already have a problem with that now. We can't keep these freaking hackers from taking our stuff. All of our elderly parents, right? I have to tell my parents sometimes, don't respond to emails, don't pick up your phone for numbers you don't know, etc., right? Also, strong security standards and regular software updates are essential. So imagine the downtime in some cases, because sometimes when I tell my phone that it can do the overnight updates, sometimes it won't do it, and now it's got me waiting for them to get done the next day. Lastly, a data breach could expose sensitive location and personal information, right? These are big issues I see with this potential surveillance of all this data, right? And the biggest thing is they want to advertise to us, right? They want to continue to get us in front of a product because we live in that age now. Now, what about government regulation? Holy smokes. I could spend 2 hours talking about this because I remember there was not a time that long ago, I had to look for where my truck was, where if you decided you wanted to do a diesel delete, you could go to jail, right? If you had a shop and you decided you wanted to delete your truck, or you wanted to delete trucks and tune them, you can go to jail for that. Guys actually did go to jail for that. Guys got fined millions of dollars. These are small American businesses. And that's why I disagree with a lot of things that Democrats do, because only a Democrat party would do something like that. And here we are with this new age of crap, with this surveillance on our cars. This potentially could create issues for people in the future. Now, I got this offline. Here's some points that it made here. It says here, policymakers face the challenge of balancing public safety with personal privacy. Anyone watch that movie, Minority Report? I think about that movie a lot these days because I watched it with my wife not long ago, and I was really, really shocked at how close we are to that day. And transparency requirements may be needed so drivers understand what data is being collected. Regulations should clearly define data retention periods and limits on data sharing. See, we are talking about our personal space, right? Our personal space is being invaded inside our car. You know, sometimes when I was younger, I would jump in my car and go for a drive because I just needed just to be alone. And now, if you think that you're jumping in your car, truck, or SUV, you ain't alone no more. Someone's in there with you, and someone could be watching you, which is crazy to think about. Now, I have a few questions I want to ask you guys really quickly. But before I do, anyone know what that is? Is that a camera? That's a camera up there. Also, there's a monitor right there for the Super Cruise, okay? Speaker, that looks to be a speaker. Speaker, and they probably have one back there too, I just don't see it right now. So in the event that you think that you're alone in your car, I'm just making that point one more time, you're already being watched. So picking that nose, they know what you just did, and they can hold that against you. Just kidding. Now, here's my first question. I think this is something that you guys should really understand here. How much vehicle data collection is necessary for safety? That's a really good question. I got that offline. I thought it was a great question for you guys to discuss. What type of information should they be able to get? I would say absolutely none. But you know, maybe there is some instances where surveillance is good, right? If someone is drinking and they decide to jump in their car, maybe that might be something that is worth having, because that could save lives, right? That could. The next question is, should drivers be able to opt out of non-essential data collection? I would 100% say yes to that, but some people might say no. Share your thoughts down below. Who should own and control vehicle generated data? That's a really good question I got offline. And what safeguards should be in place to prevent misuse? I think that we have gotten to a point in our life where we have way too much content, way too much advertisements, way too much screens in our face. Everywhere I look, if I get inside my truck, there's literally 3 screens if you want to include this, because that's basically a screen, right? We're always being advertised to, right? We're always in front of something. And I think that we live in a time where it's really concerning to me how things are changing so quickly. And this is a good conversation to have, guys. Like, I think that this should make us a little concerned here, just a little bit, because this is going to define the future of how we live. And I think that a lot of people don't really see it happening. A lot of things are happening really quickly. I hate AI. I hate it. If I use AI, it's very, very, very low usage. I use it maybe 3 times a month because I'm so against it. And I only use it for things that I need done quickly. That's it. But for the most part, I still choose the hard way because of how dangerous I see it becoming. So think about the simpler times. I think that there might be a time in my life where I might want to go back because it's just an overload of information. And we really need to consider our privacy. We need to consider, if I'm getting inside of my car, right, there's a speaker there, one there, but I don't have a camera that I can see. I don't have a monitor anywhere in here that I can see. So it's very possible they could have put something inside the screen, you know, it's very possible. But let me know your thoughts down below. Do you agree with this surveillance inside the interior of our cars? Yes or no? See you guys next video.